What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. Another great episode. DJ Reacts. You know what it is. Got another good one for you. A little bit off topic here. But yeah, let's see how this goes. As a disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything that I say. Don't believe anything that you see on these videos. Do your own research. Never believe any of this. Research for yourself. And shout outs to everybody that's been commenting. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it, especially the great comments. You know, that truly makes my soul smile, the fact that we understand everything on the same level. So on that note, let's get into it.
He is the fastest swordsman in the world, also the Guinness World Record holder. He can turn ordinary pens into dangerous hidden weapons. Even the police, after watching his videos, urged him to register quickly. He is one of the last few inheritors of the art of Mo Ying, known as Mo Ying Xing Luo. In the heart without women, the sword naturally becomes divine. His sword can complete a lightning fast, slash in just fractions of a second. Before you blink, he has already sliced the apple in front of him in half. What's terrifying is his ability to swiftly, accurately, and flawlessly return the sword to its scabbard. Not only is his swordsmanship outstanding, but his agility is also remarkable. He moves with such ease, capable of executing a 270-degree drift while running at high speed. His vision is astonishing too. He can deflect swiftly shot arrows with a single stroke of his blade. Moreover, he is an all-around talent. I believe even if the national team were to challenge him in table tennis, they might not necessarily prevail. He is...
Holy shit. Wow. That is unparalleled talent right there.
The fact that people aren't up in arms about them putting fluoride in your fucking drinking water is so crazy. It's so unnecessary.
It's brilliant on the other end, though.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened is the reason people have that relationship is they cleaned up the water the same time that they did that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people at that time just remember the water not being that great. And then all of a sudden the water is really great, and it's got fluoride, and it's good for your
teeth.
Right.
Despite the fact that there's direct correlations between high levels of fluoride in drinking water and low IQs. They think it lowers people's IQs. They think it's terrible for you. Fluoride's dangerous. You're not supposed to swallow toothpaste.
Look, whatever you're saying, people won't find out about that for 100 years, and I'm not even going to be 100. And most of these decisions are made like that.
Yeah. Well, most people are terribly unaware of the fluoride thing.
Hope you guys aren't using fluoride. This is something I talked about in a lot of my videos. I do not use anything with fluoride. I buy fluoride-free toothpaste. You should definitely get it because that helps decalcify your pineal gland once you get all that fluoride. And remember, that's been built up in you for a long time, so you want to get all that out. Just get all that shit out of you.
Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know the Earth is flat.
Seriously?
Astrology and flat Earth or true Earth are symbiotic. You cannot have one without the other. If you have a ball and you are spinning, flying through space, chasing this fireball, your constellations would change every now and then. And our constellations have never changed. The stars have never changed. We have the same 12 zodiac signs that we had back in the Dendera stones in Egypt over 5,000 years ago. We're not moving. Every single ancient society knew this. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Hindus, the Egyptians, every single ancient culture knew that we live in a geocentric universe, not a heliocentric where we are spinning, chasing this ball of fire while all of these other planets are rotating around us, while all of these other stars are rotating around us. If that was the case, Polaris would move, number one, which is the North Star, and it doesn't. Number two, all of the constellations would not rotate solely around Polaris, but they do. Therefore, we are the center of the universe. Believing in the Big Bang Theory is something that is very common today, where people think, we're the product of an accident and that, we don't have a creator. We're just here to consume and live our best life and not live up to our potential. But if you're the center of the universe, that means that you're very special. That means that you have a creator who is very conscious and cares about you. And when you see yourself as being watched by these heavenly bodies above you 24/7, you start to take your life a little bit more seriously.
Face tattoos is a great warning of just massive levels of mental instability. I actually think people can look good with tattoos. I'm not really anti-tattoo, but the science is in. It's like lots of tattoos is almost always high anxiety, which is comorbid with depression. People's actions leave clues to their inner mind. And since I read that science 5 years ago, you find someone with a whole bunch of tattoos, you dig in and their anxiety levels 1 to 100 is almost always 80, 90, or 100.
Interesting.
Yeah, body modification is very correlated with depression too. So it's not just cutting, lots of piercings, lots of things.
I've heard that before. I've heard people love to get certain things like that because not only the infliction of pain, but also bloodletting. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of that. That's just some stuff that I've read before. Why some people like go overboard.
In the US, we have a single dose toxicity rule, basically, that says we can put this in small doses in things, but if you wake up in the morning and you take a multivitamin that has the cheap B12 cyanocobalamin, and then you pop an emergency packet because you think, oh, I'm going to get some extra vitamin C, and then later in the day you're like, I'm feeling a little dehydrated, I'm going to pop a liquid IV. Then you feel really tired because you had all this crap in the morning. So you have a Monster Energy or Celsius, and I'm throwing a lot of companies under the bus right now, but I'm hoping to make this change. They all have cyanocobalamin. So now you've had 100,000% of your daily dose of B12 in the form of cyanocobalamin. You can't process it. So now your anxiety is worse, your depression is worse. You're going to start looking at stuff and going, oh my God, it's everywhere.
How did you get into this?
Well, I've been cutting hair for 8 years. I blew up on TikTok for it, for sitting on somebody, and then I just realized there's a market for it.
This is the bag right here. Do you charge extra for the whole setup? Okay, okay.
Like for a haircut, $125, and then after the haircut, I'll sit on you and massage your hands.
Just for $125?
Yeah.
Please don't go do that. You've got to be the ultimate simp to go pay $125 for a haircut as a man to just have a woman sit on you. And that's ridiculous. But, bravo to her. She just figured out a niche that never existed and created it. So, yeah, props to her. Yeah, that's just, in my opinion, it's just dumb. Other people obviously like it, but no way in hell.
There have been elongated skulls, okay, not cranial bindment, natural elongated skulls genetically that have from Tiwanaku in Bolivia, okay, as well as the Paracas skulls in Peru, and even on an island called Malta in the Mediterranean that has a place called the Hypogeum, incredible oracle chamber. All three of those places had elongated skulls found over the last 100 years. Some of them are very extensive. There's actually a museum in Paracas that Brian Forrester, who one of the experts on this film I'm leading, is one of the curators who's taking care of those. This is what I'm trying to say, though. They did genetic testing of those skulls. Not just one organization, but at least 3 from different areas have done genetic testing on those skulls. All of the genetic testing came back from the same area. All of it. You know where it came from?
Where?
Eastern Turkey, and also up towards that Georgia Caucasus Mountains region.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So if you don't know what he's talking about this part right here. On a normal skull like this, you would have cranial ridges. So the people that actually would take their children and tighten stuff around their heads to give them that little lump, they have those cranial ridges, but these skulls don't, and those never get this big. So that's the difference. People will try to fool you and say, no, these are just them, but no, they're not, because these are humans, and all humans have cranial ridges around the skulls, but these skulls have none.
Oh, ya teman-teman. Tuh, oke, saya dapat. Ini Raja Jin, lihat. Alhamdulillah, saya udah taklukkan. Harumnya. Oke teman-teman, lanjut makan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita makan bagian perutnya dulu. Bismillah.
That's a mandrake mushroom. I've never seen one with all those teeth though. But yeah, that's a mandrake mushroom. They're shaped like people. literally, they're shaped like beavers. That's a big one, though. I've never seen one that big or with the teeth like that. So maybe I haven't just seen like most of the other ones, but so that's a big one. That thing, it looks like she's eating something that's alive. It is alive. I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but right when Google Maps had started, they used to actually show that big black hole that Admiral Byrd flew through, that big cave, that cavern. And then after, it started to come out and become more popular, they photoshopped it and just, filled it in.
Ended up making my way out to one of the farms, and there I filmed some of the most severe sea lice infestations that's ever been recorded.
Corin was able to capture footage of salmon being eaten alive by an infestation of sea lice parasites, a common reality of fish farming across the world. It was sad to think that this incredible species, which had evolved for millions of years to migrate across entire oceans and navigate up rivers to reach the exact same spawning grounds they were born in, were now confined to swim in circles in their own filth.
So it's estimated that each salmon farm in Scotland produces organic waste equivalent to a town of 10 to 20,000 people. And taken together, it's estimated that the Scottish salmon farming industry produces organic waste equivalent to the entire population of Scotland each year.
This is where salmon go to die from the farms. Maybe 50% of the salmon are dying from egg to plate, from hatch to catch. And this is the mortality mountain. This is a symptom of factory battery salmon farming. These fish are dying from anemia, lice infestation, infectious diseases, chlamydia, heart disease. This is welfare abuse. So far from being a panacea for the world food problem, salmon farming is a waste of resources. It's biological nonsense.
The stench was horrifying. These weren't the bright orange and pink salmon I'd seen in the commercials.
So, farm salmon, without colorants being added to its feed, would be completely grey, to the extent that salmon farmers can actually...
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. If you have a choice, never buy farmed fish. Buy your fish fresh and natural, not farm raised, because that is... That and a lot of other things, disease and all kinds of stuff, is a very common problem with farmed fish farm. Because they're all stuck in that one little area and they're just going through each other's muck and disease spreads fast.
Scientific discoveries that cannot be explained. Let's play it.
All of the artifacts, and that's the Delk print. Delk print has a dinosaur print and then the human print right next to it. Do you see it? Do you see the big toe right there and the toes following it? How this is impinging on this, or is this impinging on that? We'll have more information on that. That is called the Delk print. These right here you could easily skip over and say, oh, okay, nice little jars. But no, there's a baby dinosaur on one of them. You've got a squirrel right there. You've got a frog right there. But that, my friends, is a dinosaur, and this is 1200 AD from Central America. Talking about something that should not be there. In the sandstone, which is even older than Cretaceous limestone, is an alleged, I think it goes beyond alleged, handprint. So this person pushed off of the ground. The majority of the weight was right here. It's deeper, and my hand just barely fits in there. Again, that shouldn't be there considering the age of the rock. Now, the solution to having dinosaurs and humans together, or handprints or footprints in rock that are allegedly 100, 200, or even 500 million years old, can all be resolved if one looks at the worldwide flood 4,500 years ago as a geological anomaly, really, with intense amount of geological activity accelerating some of these processes. And you can have humans and dinosaurs in the same place 4,500 years ago and have a handprint in sandstone mud that then hardens and then masquerades as something that's 200, 300 million years old today.
There's a lot of data that goes back and forth with this about how their carbon dating methods are flawed, and how, there's 12 different ways to carbon date things, but most of them are flawed. So, I personally believe that, humans and the few dinosaurs that were here existed, but I don't believe we had all of the dinosaurs that they claim that we have, because we don't have a full dinosaur skeleton anywhere. not at any of the museums. Go to the Smithsonian. Well, that's just a horrible place. You know, they pretty much cover up everything. But you know, I've seen 5 foot tibias before in Sicily. I wasn't supposed to, so it's not a hard thing for me to believe that, you know, especially when you're talking about, you know, 2,000-3,000 years ago, somebody drew a brontosaurus. Was it a Yeah, I believe it was a brontosaurus. And the one thing that we don't have is the skin. You know, we have certain bones, and then they make other bones to adapt it to make it, you know, fit. But they drew the actual patterns on the skin and the scales and the actual, you know, the big scales on the back and the patterns on them, which nobody today knows for certain because we don't have that. Skin, you know, just goes away, rots. But we have plenty of drawings of the skin of dinosaurs. Granted, most dinosaurs were like the size of a chicken. You know, there weren't that many that were massive. People think all dinosaurs were so big, but the majority of them were like the size of chickens. But yeah, you had your big ones. Yeah, you definitely in the land and on the land and the sea. You had massive ones, but those are the exception to the rule, not the rule.
Near-death experiences, let's go ahead and talk about it. But before I play this video, I want to talk about one thing. Somebody is going to say that it's just a hallucination. This is what happens when your brain is deprived of oxygen, and it's going to do everything it can to simulate like a coping mechanism to let you kind of bow out gracefully. But what's interesting about hallucinations is that they're random, and they're based on the person's life experience. But if you ever study near-death experiences, there's only 2 options. Option 1 is what we're going to play today, where this woman is like reaching her hand up, she feels God, she hears the music, she's slowly going into the dying process and getting into the gates of heaven. Option 2, and the one that they never want to talk about, is the fact that you're sitting in the hospital bed and you're screaming and you're pulling at the sheets, nurses are running in, doctors don't know what to do, and you're screaming that your body is on fire, you're seeing all these different shapes, different shadows climbing up the walls, everything is in absolute turmoil and hell, and that is option 2. But the very fact that there's only 2 options should signify that there's some sort of importance to the decisions that you're going to make here on this earth. And I don't mean to spill the beans on this one, but if you accept Jesus Christ, you end up going to the good place. Oh, let's just play the video.
And where are they at? The ceiling? Don't see anything. You see them? Are they making you happy? Yes. Yeah? Well, that's good. How many? 4. 'Cause time wasn't in our favor. This isn't goodbye. This is
Okay, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but I've studied NDEs for a very long time. I talked about this in one of my other videos. There were these two psychiatrists in England, and they studied NDE. They literally sat at thousands of 2,000 people's bedsides as with their last moments, and they talked about what they were seeing, what they were experiencing, and then so we had all of these different NDEs from all over the world. And one of the craziest ones was there was this girl, she was Muslim, and she got, you know, she had her NDE and she saw Christ, you know, Yeshua, Jesus. And like I said, I'm not pushing any religious thing, I never do, just telling you the experience. So she saw him, and she drops to her knees and starts to cry, and she's like, I am so sorry. I never knew about you. I was raised in a Muslim household. We knew you as a prophet. I was raised to recite the Quran and blah, blah, blah. And he said, so I will send you back so you can tell the truth. And so she comes back and she immediately switches religions. Her family disowns her, but it's so powerful that she stayed that way the rest of her life. And then you have people like that doctor that had meningitis that talks about what he saw. And the funny thing is, I've only ever seen people meet Jesus. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what part of the world you're from. That's what I see people seeing. Even people that don't believe in him, have no knowledge of him. So, that's just an interesting occurrence. I'm not saying anything by it, I'm just saying it's interesting. And then you have the ones like what he's talking about when you're in isolation. You're in basically your hell, which is being furthest away from the light of Christ or God. You're further away from the light. Pretty much almost disconnected. You're not disconnected because you're there, but you're as far as you could be. And then that could be a multitude of things. So I just found it really interesting. If you guys have read up anything on that or heard anything, let me know. I've had my own NDEs I've discussed on here before, but I find them interesting to see them from different cultures and people from around the world. I find it very intriguing.
Food company gets called
Mr. Parnell,
out.
Mr. Lightsey, let me just cut to the chase then. In this container are products that have your ingredients in them. And I just wonder, do either of you be willing to take the lid off and eat any of these products now?
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer your question based on the protection afforded me under the United States Constitution.
You're dismissed.
Sometimes manufacturers of food don't really think of it as food.
Food that they think is the same is not the same anymore. Everybody's for free choice. Whether we're liberal or whether we're conservative, we've all got that streak in us. But the fact is, you cannot have free choice unless you have an informed choice. And you can't have an informed choice if they're lying about what's on the label. What about PAM cooking spray? Everybody knows what PAM is. It's some kind of little healthy oil with compressed air that you spray it and it gets on your pan. It's not compressed air. And they don't tell you, but it's butane and propane. People don't understand that they are spraying lighter fluid on their children's hot cakes, and it's fabulously successful.
That's pretty shocking in and of itself, but it doesn't shock me. I mean, these people are treacherous, and they care nothing about us. That's why we have to put this awareness out there, stick together, and make sure the information gets out there, no matter what.
Look at all these houses in Florida allegedly painting their roof blue. Blue, of all colors. Now, I know you've seen that video of that big green laser straight down. Look, it's fake. It's fake. It's the same person who did the face by the moon, same person who did the old man. They're all fake. If you go to his page, it's a whole bunch of CGI videos he makes himself. Now, there was a real green laser scanning the area I'm about to show you. But first, let's look at what Biden said in general.
Because if you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took office, FEMA's provided Texas alone.
That is pretty weird, isn't it? Now let's look at the news report of the real green laser.
Pause. It's a plane flying low over people's homes, scanning the ground with that green laser. Welcome back. I'm Chris Safadi.
And I'm Lois Tomey. So what does this plane, what is it doing? Awake News anchor Annette Montgomery joins us in the studio. And Annette, what did you learn?
Well, Chris and Lois, I learned who it's not after reaching out to everyone from the city of Cape Coral to the county, to the Florida Division of Emergency Management, to the South Florida Water District and Port Authority. Not belong to them. One neighbor got so fed up, she purchased a flight radar to help narrow down the search for the owner.
And besides that, with that original green laser video being fake that everyone's saying was in Texas, you know, it wouldn't have to be green. There's a lot of speculation about the colors. I'm about to show you a video real quick where allegedly a laser specialist says that the infrared laser is actually the most dangerous and you can't even see it in the first place.
Ooh, look at all those awesome laser beams. Do you know which one's the strongest? If you guess the green one, you're wrong. I'm sorry, that's actually a trick question. It's actually the invisible one. That's an infrared laser. Pretty crazy, right?
That was something I talked about a while back, and I even made a video on TikTok saying that I was gonna show that the lasers, you know, don't burn blue, and then I ended up getting my video got deleted. So I don't know if I'm gonna do it on here, but infrared is definitely the most powerful, but cameras can see it. So any house that has a security camera can see it. You know, you can take your cell phone or even, you know, anything. See, this is infrared right here, see? But you can't see it, but you can see it with your cell phone. You can see it with a security camera, so you'd be able to see it. And we did see that in some of these videos where you saw just nothing come down and then fires start just coming up everywhere in that one spot, just big amounts of fire. So yeah, it's definitely the most powerful.
You won't even be able to guess why this is happening. We'll be right back. So we are just now stepping into 5G, but guess what? Huawei unveils world's first 5.5G network. And yes, that's how it's pronounced. Pretty weird, right? Anyways, gotta love 5G. And that right there brings me right back to the helicopter. So you can see down there, this is from the BBC. And they say that the gigahertz from 5G waves can bring down planes and helicopters. I mean, look at it. So what you're seeing here is quite literally a helicopter being taken down by 5G. That's some crazy stuff. I don't know if I want that outside of my house. Insane. So now with their new 5.5G from Huawei, I can tell you for sure I don't want that crap near me. Obviously. If it takes down helicopters, what else does it do? What's it do to humans? This is all alleged, this is all speculation, you know, whatever the bull crap with it. You get it. Yeah, I don't want it. I don't.
It looks like the helicopter flew towards the 5G tower, like it was somehow magnetically pulled in. But those 5G towers also shoot off microwaves. Microwaves, if you look at some of the older declassified CIA documents, they created microwaves they used for food on accident because they were trying to build a weapon, which they did, and that's how they can give you a heart attack from, you know, wherever, a satellite, from long distances on land. They can actually put voices in your head. So, and there's TikToks and there's videos on YouTube of people talking about this happening to them. So they'll be walking with a group of friends and they'll start getting really nauseated and they'll hear someone talking to them, you know, inside their head, but no one else next to them can hear it. And you know, makes them think they're going crazy. They get nauseated. You can even defecate on yourself. You know, it's real powerful, real bad stuff. It sucks that it's in the hands of people that would use it for that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Elon is for us or against us? From what he said.
Did y'all know that?
From what Elon Musk has said, he said that everybody should be terrified of AI, and you know, especially AI with quantum computing. And I have the same sentiments, even though that's the field I'm in. I've always said that technology is one of the greatest things, but it's going to be our biggest downfall because the way people are using it. And Elon Musk says a lot of the same things, but he's also hooking up Neuralink, so you never know what's going on in a person's mind or what their intentions are. So what do you guys think? Let me know.
We just got the Jeffrey Epstein of the music and entertainment industry. The new lawsuit that just dropped against Diddy is massive, and it has photos, it has videos, it names names, and there's so much here that it's never gonna fit into a single video. So I'm gonna do a quick overview in this video, and then I'm gonna do a couple of parts breaking down all the different aspects of what's come out so far. We're talking crime scenes, we're talking photo evidence of celebrities like Cuba Gooding Jr., we're talking record label executives, we're talking hidden cameras in every room of the house, getting recordings of celebrities, executives, politicians at parties with celebrities and underage girls, with drinks being spiked, with drugs. This goes all the way back to the murder of Tupac and Biggie. We're talking about the entire rap and hip hop industry and the whole music industry at large. But to be clear, this is just opinions and speculation. These are not statements of fact. When I show sources in the background, like the court case, you should take those for just what they are. I'm not saying that all of this is necessarily real. So what's happened just now is that this man, Rodney Jones, who is a music producer that worked with Sean Combs, who is Diddy, he just filed this lawsuit. And he didn't just file it against Diddy, he filed against the executives at all of the companies associated and against the companies like Universal Music Group. His lawyers claim that he has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Diddy and his staff and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. It's illegal for lawyers to make these claims if they don't have reasonable belief that this evidence is legitimate and exists. They could get disbarred for making these claims if they're not true. And some of that evidence is present in this lawsuit, like when Diddy allegedly shot a man. And then the LAPD saw that room in the photo, the bathroom with all that blood, and were on the scene for hours and no arrests were made. They went with the explanation that Diddy told his staff to give, which was it was a drive-by shooting. Diddy made it clear that his head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. This guy. And all of Diddy's staff were instructed to contact Mr. Muhammad if they were ever pulled over by the police in Miami or California. Diddy often bragged about having law enforcement under control. Although the deeper you look, the more it looks like people above him and above law enforcement had him under control. We'll go more into these cases in the detailed videos, but now the bigger picture. See, Diddy has been one of the most powerful people in the rap industry ever since the 90s when he founded Bad Boy Records. And he was only 24 when he founded it. He started his career as a non-paid intern at A&R until he was then fired in 1993 when he was 24 and founded his own label, Bad Boy Records, later that year. So how does a 24-year-old found a massive record label on his own? Well, when you dig further, you realize it wasn't on his own. It was with the help of Clive Davis, his mentor. And the further into it all you dig, you realize that Clive Davis came out as gay later on, and there's a lot of rumors that him and Diddy were in a relationship throughout this time. This is going to come up over and over and over, just by chance. Clive Davis has been running significant portions of the music industry since our parents were kids listening to music. Responsible for artists like Aretha Franklin, Alicia Keys, The Grateful Dead, then later Usher, Outkast, Pink. But back in the 60s and 70s, like Janis Joplin, Santana, Aerosmith, Pink Floyd, like, come on, read it. Jones specifically claims that they were trying to groom him to do gay stuff, which has long been the talk of the town in the rap industry by people that aren't with it. Diddy allegedly showed him a tape from a secret recording that he just happened to have of Jones's idol having gay sex with some white guy. And then Diddy apparently told Jones that he had engaged in gay sex with this redacted rapper and that redacted rapper and his idol, Stevie J. And apparently he also promised to make sure that Jones would win Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he did gay stuff on camera. Although, to be clear, he wasn't explicitly saying on camera, but Mr. Jones discovered that Diddy had hidden cameras in every room of his home. I'm going to guess that Diddy didn't learn how to wire a whole house with cameras on his own. Kanye has accused Diddy of being a Fed many times. Diddy's also been accused of ordering the hit on Tupac many times. And when Diddy was asked about this on a podcast, this was his response.
We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking.
When you start digging into allegations of the CIA, the FBI, the Mossad having tentacles in the music industry, you wind up at total rumors like this. Former CIA agent admits agency created gangster rap to fill private prisons by glamorizing criminality. Claims.
Oh, I didn't even know that was coming up. I'm pausing right there. That is absolutely true. That is 1000% true. That's why music changed from like the late 80s, and then you get around to like 89, 90, and gangster rap starts coming out. It's because there was this whole agenda. It's so much bigger than just music. It's way bigger than just music. But you're talking about, first they changed the frequency the music was played on. I can't remember the exact frequencies, but the frequencies that music used to be played on was healing. It would heal people. That's why people loved music. But then they turned it into a frequency that it's being played on that actually does harm to you. So that's why people can listen to certain music and get amped up and violent and this and that, because it can bring that out in you because of the frequency that all music is now played on. But it's so much bigger than that. Yeah, the private prison systems were built and they needed to fill them, but they not only created gangster rap music. They took out, before that it was like Kid and Play, Will Smith, soft type stuff, and then they took it, yeah, all kinds of good music, and then they took it and turned it into gangster rap because there was a plan with CPS to also so the remove children from the home, remove fathers from the home with the gangster rap, and then also we all know that the CIA was bringing that cocaina into the West Coast, and actually putting that on the streets, and that's what and they were only doing it in those specific neighborhoods. So that's when you had the whole crack epidemic, and then that just spread across the entire world. So the private prison systems, the gangster rap, the CPS taking the father out of the home, taking the children out of the home, leaving mothers on welfare that have kids, but taking the fathers away. So now they have, all these people where they want them, and they're making so much money off of it. I mean, it's a big picture. There's a big agenda behind all of that. That's years of stuff I just said right there that I've dug into, and there's so much more. I mean, it took me a long time to like go down that rabbit hole, but it is all absolutely factual, and you can look it up, do your own research, or think I'm lying, think I'm full of shit. Either way, it doesn't bother me. I'm letting you know, do your research. This is absolutely true. I haven't seen any of these videos, so I didn't know he was going to say that, so I had to speak up when he did. Yeah, I know that was a whole lot to take in, but do your research. If any of you have done your research on this, let me know in the comments. This goes back so far and so deep that there's no point in getting into it, but I hope you guys actually do your research on this, because it's much bigger than just Pac and Diddy and rap. It plays into the way the world is right now, so I'd say look into it if you wanted to know.
Let me crack this egg.
One, two, three. Hey! That wasn't very nice. That wasn't very nice. Can I do it to you?
A little bit of salt in it. And then you have to mix it really.
That's what you get! What the fuck?
I'm gonna crack one egg.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna do that tonight. Absolutely.
When you understand the hidden truth of the human heart, you can create any reality that you choose. The human heart is not at all what we've been conditioned to believe it is. It's actually an electromagnetic coil that generates a magnetic field around our body that pulls things towards us. Scientists have measured this magnetic field, and it's 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field. Every emotion we have is actually a vibrational pulse that is sent through this field and is stored inside of our aura, and will either propel people away from us or magnetize people and experiences towards us. Every emotion that we experience as humans is either from fear or from love. And if it's from fear, it propels people away from you. But if it's from love, it increases your magnetic field and draws people and everything towards you. I can literally guarantee you, if you make more decisions out of fear than love for yourself in a day, you will be walking around and you'll just notice people do not attract towards you. Experiences, success does not attract towards you. The universe is not working in your favor because you're not working with it. When you step into love, you start to give more than you take. You step out of survival into service for the world. The universe shifts, your reality shifts, and the universe turns into a more abundant, giving place. It's almost like we're not physical beings moving through different realities based on the frequency we emit. If you're ready to leave behind the old, lower vibrational patterns and earth to step into the new, higher you, shoot me a DM.
Yeah, that's interesting that he says that, because in your heart you have what's called the little heart brain. A lot of people don't even know there's a brain inside of your heart, and it has more synapses and more neural connectors than your actual brain, and pumps out a lot more energy than your actual brain. So when you read like all of these, you know, ancient texts, when you're talking about like the Bhagavad Gita, or Enuma Elish, or even the Bible, or, you know, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they all talk about when heart and your mind are one, you can change reality, move mountains, literally do things, but the two have to be in sync, and it's not an easy thing to do. That's why they preach it for so long.
If you pinch your skin really hard, you might get a red painful bump that fills with blood. Random facts. The last one could save your life. When cars were just invented, there were only 2 cars on the road in the entire state of Ohio, and yet they somehow managed to crash into each other. You get to live in this house with free food and Wi-Fi, but you have to kiss the second person that appears when you click on share and then click on more. Canadian $1 and $2 coins are called loonies and toonies. Alaska is the most northerly, westerly, and easterly state in the United States. Wallis are so large that a human could swim through its veins. If you want to check if your phone is fake or real, just comment happy with small letters and use square brackets in it. If a secret emoji appears, then you're...
Am I tripping, or did that AI just switch into another dialect? Just completely offhand accent, like out of nowhere, and then switched right back here. I know you guys heard that, right?
Then your phone is real. Otherwise, it's fake. The reason you get dizzy when you stand up is that you are too low on iron. In Japan, there are schools that teach you how to be funny. Before the last fact, follow us to get smarter. If you encounter a brown bear, lie down. If it's a black bear, fight back. If it's a white bear, there's basically nothing you can do.
Fuck! Oh, God! Oh, God!
When you go in your daughter's room, and she says, Mommy, you've got a bunch of spiders up there. Little baby's one. And it's like, oh, that's not too bad. It's just like maybe 50, 60. But then she says, look in the other corner. There's more. And they're alive.
above our headline, so unless you're Shaquille O'Neal, they're not going to...
Australia just has the most dangerous shit everywhere. It's just insane the amount of dangerous stuff they have there, and everything that has venom lives there.
Hello? I was just trying to get me some trail mix and...
Explore.
Huh? What? What?
What is that?
What the
That was not there last night.
Nah, that was wasn't there last night. We pulled up here. I come over here and set up this solar thing last night. You ain't do that.
Fuck! Oh, God! Oh, God!
When you go in your daughter's room, and she says, Mommy, you've got a bunch of spiders up there. Little baby's one. And it's like, oh, that's not too bad. It's just like maybe 50.
She just said, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. 50, 60. Hell no.
See, but then she says, look in the other corner. There's more. And they're alive.
above our headline, so unless you're Shaquille O'Neal, they're not going to bother.
Australia's just got the most venomous, dangerous everything out there. It's insane.
Hello? I was just trying to get me some trail mix and...
Explore.
Huh? What? What?
What is that?
What the
That was not there last night.
Nah, that was wasn't there last night. We pulled up here. I come over here and set up this solar thing last night. You ain't do that. Holy
Gosh. Made it to the Appalachian Mountains. So far, no skin. Gosh.
Going out here by myself. Weird stuff out here. I've been hearing weird stuff out here, so. Yep. Yep, there it is. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
Babe, what are you looking at? Wait, what do you look? Oh my gosh. Do you not see that? Oh my gosh. Rewatch this video. Do you not see that right there? Oh my god.
Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like my content, go ahead and smash that like, subscribe, notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video, and we run the numbers up on the algorithm while we grow this community. Appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next one.